We're
Chris,
here.
we're
Yes,
here.
we're
It
here live.
finally happened. We're
Yeah,
live.
and we're doing an interview today.
We're doing a great interview, guys.
Yeah.
We got a special, awesome episode for you. We got the cast, director, the executive producer of a movie called They Wait in the Dark. We're going to talk to some of the good people, all of them from the KC area. So literally, we're just gonna have a great conversation about everything. We're even going to talk about the wonderful things in life, like not only the movie, locations like the DeSoto Inn. We got to talk about the DeSoto Inn at some
Sure.
point. I feel like we
Mhm.
got to talk about that. But also, Chris, we got to talk about the love that we have between me and you.
It's a show by Chris and Neil with all great movies. They are the real deal. We watch them all, so you don't have to. It's movies that don't suck and some that do.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, welcome to another episode of Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Do. My name is Neil.
And I'm Chris. I'm not sure all ages is correct. Maybe 18 and up.
I mean, I feel like at
We're
this point
rated
in the
R. I
world,
think. I think we're rated
I
R.
mean, have you seen the cartoons that are out there today? I mean, come on,
okay.
we can
All
just
right.
give it
Yeah.
up to all of
Okay.
it. All right, today, guys, this is our special edition. This is a great episode. We are going to be talking to some of the cast and the creators of They Wait in the Dark. Now, They Wait in the Dark is a movie about Amy, a young woman who's on the run with her son, Adrian, from her abusive ex-girlfriend. When the past rises up to haunt them, they must confront the forces threatening them from both outside and in. So, for further no ado, first, we're going to bring up an accomplished director and writer in the film industry. He has gained recognition for exceptional storytelling abilities and his unique approach to horror and suspense genres. With his film here, They Wait in the Dark, currently available on Amazon, Patrick has captivated audiences with his ability to create intense and gripping narratives. Now, joining Patrick are two talented actors from They Wait in the Dark, Sarah McGuire and Megan Flynn. Sarah's remarkable portrayal of her character in the film showcases her versatility and dedication to her craft, and Megan's exceptional acting skills brings depth and authenticity to her role, leaving a lasting impact on viewers. Together, Patrick, Sarah, and Megan have worked collaboratively to bring The Wait in the Dark to life, crafting a chilling and immersive cinematic experience. Their combined talent and passion for storytelling has resulted in truly unforgettable film that has captured attention and praise of the audience. Now, folks, the cast and crew of They Wait in the Dark.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
For having us.
Thanks for coming on. We're very happy to have you guys on. We're thrilled, actually. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. So
No,
This-
again, thanks
you all
for,
right?
thanks for having us, guys.
yeah,
Like,
Guys, we're all out of wind because we've been talking to each other actually for like the last 10 minutes
Mhm,
before we
yeah.
even got on
Yeah,
air.
so-
So-
and also having technical difficulties from
Oh, Chris,
This one.
yeah, Chris always has technical difficulties. It's a thing he's been doing since day one.
come on.
I mean, I love him, but
that's Chris. It must run in the family, like brother-in-law, sister-in-law, like
yeah, maybe it's just. But we're good.
Now, let's get this started by first. Let's go right to the writer director Patrick. The script, man. This movie, they Wait in the Dark, has some twists, it has some turns. I really love like the. We're not gonna spoil it here, but there's this great twist in the movie that I just absolutely love. To you, where did the idea or the thought process come up for this story?
Well, I wanted to make a haunted house movie at some point in my life. Like Poltergeist is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And obviously I wanted to make one that I knew was achievable on a small budget. So I wanted to write one where there wasn't a ton of characters and locations. So we wanted to keep it fairly contained. And for me, the biggest problem I have with ghost stories in general is it's like as soon as a chair moves or something like flies off a shelf, I would move. or I would at least get out of the house. So for me, it was all about trying to figure out a way to make it believable to the audience that the character has no choice but to stay in this place. Obviously, she's got somebody chasing her in the story, so she's hiding out with her adopted son. So for me, it was all about like having a real threat that's on the outside of the house, and then having the supernatural threat. And by the time they start to figure out what's happening, it's too late. So that was I was just trying to come up with some new approach, a new vantage point to making a haunted house movie, because everything's been done to some extent. I mean, how many Amityville movies are there? I think they're making it every week. So for me, it was just,
I mean,
you know,
yeah, Halloween. What are we at? Like 17 Halloweens now, and like
12 or
142
13 at this
Jasons.
point. So yeah, it's all about kind of coming up with something that felt new and fresh, but still falls in that it's satisfying to people who want to watch a haunted house movie, but it also has a psychological thriller aspect to it. So for me, it was writing something that was new, but also something that was achievable for a limited budget.
Sure. Do you mind if I ask how much the budget was?
No, it was under 100,000. I mean, well under. Well under.
So $22.
Yeah.
No.
So
talking about budget really quick though, how much did the DeSoto Inn pay you guys to film there? You did a lot there.
That place was amazing.
I'm going to go back and film another for a different movie. I'm eventually going to go back to that place because it really was. That was actually the first day of filming that we shot at the DeSoto Inn. So it was great. It had a great look. The owners were really, really easy to work with. I think that's important when you get a location. You got to find the people who are easy to work with, because you're going to be invading their space, and so they let us kind of do what we needed to do to make the scene work, and yeah.
And she had great stories. She was like, there was a body in room 8 once. There's a ghost in room 14. Like, I'm not kidding you. Patrick should go back and just like interview the owner.
Yeah,
you should probably just have a documentary based on the DeSoto Inn.
Seriously,
it's one of the inns that me and my wife used to drive past all the time. That would be like, man, someday we gotta get a room there. We gotta get a room there.
Well, please don't.
We like them.
So this is the best of the. So I want to say all the acting in this movie is top notch. Nothing feels forced. Everything feels authentic. So how did you guys present yourself in the mindset of your characters?
All right, Sarah, go for it.
Go for it, Sarah.
Oh God. How did I put myself in the mindset of my character?
Yeah.
Definitely just so my favorite thing with every film is like, oh, this is a horror movie. Don't approach it like you're in a horror movie.
Perfect.
Don't approach it like you're in a comedy, because it's gonna seem like a little like over dramatic and like a little farcical and like silly. But so the mindset of Amy was pretty much just like kind of like, honestly, like essentially going through like the day-to-day things. And like with this film, I was super, super happy. We didn't film everything chronologically, but we were able to film things pseudo chronologically to where it was still like really, really helpful for me as an actor to be able to be like, all right, so cool. Here's my mindset for this scene. Here's my mindset for this scene. But also without being able to like kind of like bury the lead like too much and be like, well, here's how the film ends. Like,
right.
I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what like my end goal is, but also like kind of keeping my end goal in mind of like, I am a struggling mother, trying to protect my son to whatever ends.
Yeah.
And that was basically like my mindset throughout the film is like, I am a struggling mother trying to protect my son to whatever ends.
Talking
there
about you being a struggling mother, Adrian, aka Patrick McGee, great acting.
Little Patty McCloverson.
Where did you guys find him? How did he get attached to the film?
This is actually, watch this kid now because he is going
Dang.
places, and you're not gonna
He-
be able to see him, for free for long.
We should have
Actually-
gotten his autograph
Yeah,
way back when. We should have gotten his autograph in this movie, man.
he's actually his entire family is actors in Kansas City. His mom is like the only member of his family that's not actors. So his grandmother runs an arts organization here. His other grandmother and grandfather are both actors. His uncle and his uncle's girlfriend are actors, and his dad is actually currently an actor on the star show Power Book, whatever level of Power Book doing. So this kid is like, he's just brilliant. And I had remembered that his one grandmother's a friend of mine, and I'd remembered she'd had a grandson about the right age and the right look, and he did a lot of theater in town. And I'd sent her an email and said, does he do film? What do you want to, Patrick Ray's doing this great movie. We want to read for it. And they were all over it. I mean, his family's just awesome, awesome people. And so he turned in a tape for Patrick. And I mean, I don't think we read a ton of kids. I don't think we read anybody after him, did we, Patrick?
He was perfect. Well, and it was funny because, I mean, initially he was 8 when we shot. And initially I was nervous because you just never know.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some overnight shooting. So, like, we did some days that were 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., right? And so I was concerned that he would run out of energy, but it was the opposite. I mean, by 3 a.m., he was running circles around the crew. Like, he had so much energy. And we were all like, we need more caffeine.
Yeah.
So,
Such a pro.
So with Casey being a pretty vibrant filmmaking community, what was actually the most difficult part of making this movie?
I mean, there are a number of things that can happen. Like, for one, you can't control the weather. I mean, whatever filmmaker finally creates a device that controls the weather will be the most powerful filmmaker of all time. Because it's like, there was a day where we had to shoot, and it was like 103 in the shade, and it was an unpleasant part of the shoot because we had to do some stuff with it. We had a stunt weapon and all that stuff, so we were already very, very nervous. And it's so that was a very challenging day. I mean, obviously
had ticks dropping, like those little mini like micro ticks dropping from trees right above us.
Yeah.
I'd be out.
It was horrible.
I'd be out.
But Megan came in clutch, and she's just like, "Where do you need me to spray? I got all the bug spray. I got all the bug spray."
We had ticks. We had I kid you not, the basement that we were filming in, we found this like 5-foot-long shedded snake skin.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I forgot.
But
it's the snake skin. So where's the rest of the snake? Where's the snake?
I don't know where the snake
where's
went.
the snake?
And you already got like that pentagram down there with the candles. I'm guessing is that the basement you're talking about?
Yes.
So,
so that with the snake skins and it's like the 7 plagues came back.
We should have incorporated the snake skin into the pentagram.
Oh,
and the more people that bring that up in these interviews, like in these podcasts, like we should have brought up that snake skin and just like incorporated it.
Oh, so we had exclusive. So yeah. So did you guys actually light all the candles all around the pentagram?
We did for the wide shot, and then we had to kind of figure out because the problem was Patrick McGee's hands were so small that he couldn't light the lighter in the close-up. So we had to use the cameraman's hand in the close-up. You cannot tell, but like look really closely. It's clearly not an 8-year-old's hand.
Was it Laron's?
No, it was Hanu's hand.
Oh.
So we had to do that because I mean the poor kid, he was like trying, and then he would burn himself, and I'm like, all right, so we kind of had to do some trickery with that. But I mean, for me, like in terms of challenges, we had to find a location that was a house that was, looked like it was lived in and abandoned for a long period of time. And whenever you're trying to find a house location, you either have to find a house that looks like that where people are living in there currently, and then you have to offer them a hotel for X amount of days that you're going to be filming in there. Or you have to find a house that's empty and then furnish it to make it look like it was abandoned and has a bunch of stuff in there, cobwebs and stuff. But we were able to hit the jackpot and we found a house that looked perfect, hadn't been really touched in a decade. The big problem was it was in Topeka, which is a good hour and 15 minutes
Yeah.
from Kansas City. So we had to shoot several days in Kansas City and then, move the crew to Topeka and stay in a hotel. I mean, that was kind of that was the only option that we really had. So those are the kind of things that you have to kind of deal with.
When was it filmed? Like what time of like year was it? 2019, 20?
June of 20.
Exactly 2 years ago about.
Yeah, June of 21.
Yeah.
Oh, so yes, it was a mid-pandemic sort of thing.
It was, we were kind of just coming off of the pandemic, which
yeah.
is partly why we were doing such a limited cast and crew,
Mhm.
because we didn't really have the same restrictions and people were getting vaccinated, but we also, like, the whole world wasn't wide open. So yeah, it was a little tricky.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now-
I mean, go ahead.
Now, I want to jump in a different direction real quick because I am really I am a horror movie fan. I love anything gory and I love special effects and stuff like that. And some of the special effects, like I got some stills here that are just ridiculous on the makeup job and with like the artwork on the fingers and even the nails if you zoomed in on them and stuff like that, just very realistic looking. Who did you have helping you in the special effects part?
That's Jake Jackson.
Jake Jackson. We had a guy named Jake Jackson. He is fantastic. He's worked on several films with me now at this point, and he's actually based out of Topeka. And it was tricky because we had to, spend the actors had to spend hours and hours in the makeup chair, and for us to be able to figure out, we had to figure out scheduling wise what we could film at the same time while he was working on the makeup, because as soon as the makeup was done, he had to bring the ghost spirit character into the shots and stuff like that. So we were trying to do multiple things at once, and just it's all about timing. But I think it took hours to get that makeup going.
Yeah, she was in there for a good 3 hours to do that with
Wow.
And she never once complained.
No, she's amazing. She's so gracious and talented and lovely.
Well, and there was like slight overlap because like she would come in, start getting her makeup on, and then I would show up, see her with like half of her face makeup on, and just be like, "Hey, Toby,
Yeah.
babe, how's it going, love?" Like, and like give her hugs and like be all like, because like Toby and I, like, we know each other like super, super well. And it's like, oh my God, it's been so long, babe. Like, how's it been? Like, stuff like that. I'm sorry, I gotta get like a nose slit going on that you gave me. Sorry, like, but like, gotta get this nose slit in my face real quick. Jake would take like 15 minutes to apply that and just be like, all right, get out of here. Like, gotta continue getting her makeup put on real quick, and then we would just like part ways, and then I wouldn't see her until we were filming. So
well, we had one night where we had to do a gunshot in the movie, a squib, and Jake had to do the blood squirting from that.
Oh God.
I mean, it was so he had assistants on those big days. He brought in an assistant to help him get the makeup applied, because it's just one of those things where we just had to get it all done in one day, that specific part. So it was tricky, but we saved a lot of that towards the end. I mean, for the most part, Sarah's right. The movie was sort of shot in chronological order. I mean, there's a few things at the beginning that moved around, like the diner scene was day 3.
Well, and then we filmed like the childhood flashbacks with you, Megan, like on like the last day, basically. But like, like, again, sorry, Patrick.
Oh,
I interrupted you, but
you're fine. Yeah, it's just one of those things where we were able to, because we had one major location, we were able to kind of shoot in order, and it was easy for us because we were able to leave our gear there overnight. Because normally you have to take all the gear down, leave, and then do the same thing over again, potentially, depending on what the owners want. Luckily, there was nobody living there, so we were able to kind of, get right into things the next day and start shooting. Because the whole thing was shot in 12 days, which is kind of absurd.
Wow, 12 days?
Wow. We had one 10.5-hour day that was an overnight, but I think every single one of the rest of our days was 8 hours or less.
Yeah, we moved fast.
Wow.
But some of that's because the crew has all worked with each other for years. Like we're talking since like 2006. Some of the same
wow.
people worked with us, so it's almost like a hive mind, you know, to the point where we're all kind of like reading each other's minds and know exactly what we want, and so that helps a lot.
So you just said that you guys so has it just the crew worked since 2006, or have the three of you guys worked together since 2006?
Funny enough, I've worked with Megan since 2008.
8.
Yeah, 2008. Sarah and I started working together. Was it 2018, 17? What year?
2018, 2017. Megan, you and I have known each other
We've known each other. I don't think we've worked. We worked
Before-
together on that one of Tony's.
we've known
it.
each other for a long time throughout the film community, but I don't think we've ever worked together until like 2019
Yeah,
with
I think
Safe
that was-
States.
Safe States, I think, was the first thing.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's
So-
insane.
So when writing this thing, did you have Sarah in mind for the lead?
100%. Yes, I actually wrote it for her, so that actually made
Oh
things,
wow.
that made things a little easier because I was thinking of her the whole time, and I'd worked with her on several short films. She had a smaller villain role in I Am Lisa, which is another
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that. We saw
and
that.
then
Yeah.
she did 2 or 3 short films with me at that point between. One where she was possessed, which was a lot of fun, and so I was like,
Deaf used.
It was fun for me. I don't know if it was fun for you, but it was super fun for me.
well, in Fuse,
Thing,
she has
like-
a split personality, and in Spiritual Practice, it was a short
gotcha.
film we got like the year after.
Mhm.
We actually shot that short right before the pandemic started. It was like November of 2019 when we
Oh,
did
right
that.
before, yeah.
But yeah, so we had worked together, and so I had it in mind that I was going to make a feature with her, and so there was no doubt. All the other cast members were, people who auditioned for the film. Obviously there were some bit roles, like Megan's role was easy to cast, and then of course we had an actor playing at the gas station, that Chad Crenshaw, who also was. Oh, I think my daughter wants to make a cameo.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Go ahead, bring her on.
Is it
in.
Willow? Hey, Willow.
Up, Willow.
Say hi. You stub your toe.
Aw.
This is my this part really.
Mwah.
Oh no.
Well, Paige was an interesting story though, because that was the role of Jenny, the best friend.
Yeah.
That was the one that we couldn't find the right person for. Like we just couldn't find it. Like there was a lot of actresses that gave wonderful reads, but nobody that it was like, oh yeah, that's Jenny. And her agent had posted like on their Facebook page, on their agency Facebook page, some like, I think it was really like I don't know, it was a bank commercial or a toothpaste commercial or something that she was in. And this girl was just like radiant in this commercial. And I asked Patrick, I'm like, well, you must know her, right? Like, who's this?
I had no idea.
And we're like, and he's like, no, I've never seen her before either. And it was like, well, surely she does all kinds of things. I wonder if she's local. Like, we didn't know who she was. And we just assumed she'd done like a million things. So we hit up her agent and asked her if she wanted to tape just based on this, like, whatever local commercial it was. And she'd never done a film before. I mean, she'd been doing like print ads and commercial. This is her first film role. And she was like, her audition, it was like, boom.
Yeah.
Like, she was Jenny. Like, we were just like, oh my gosh, there she is. But I'm like, geez Louise, if we hadn't, like, actors thank your agents and their social media, because we never would have
Right.
found her if her agent hadn't been posting like, here's my actor's recent work. And
Yeah, she was really good. I
Yeah.
really love the introduction of her in the diner. I thought it was awesome,
Yeah.
especially since I know that diner. I've had their country fried steak.
That diner is 10 minutes from my house, and so it was one of those things where during the pandemic, there were most of the diners in town were like saying no to film production in general. Like they were just like, no way.
Right.
So I went over there and introduced myself, and then I just kept coming back to eat, and then I would bring my kids. And so by the time I was like, the great thing about having kids that are cute, you bring them to the location, and I'm like, you can't say no to me, because if you say no to me, you're also saying no to my kids. So
Aw.
they I know it's
That's
a little, but it's a tactic I use sometimes. But anyway, they were great. They were fantastic to work with.
Oh,
Florence
That-
Florence Pugh would say, "You cheeky man, Patrick Ray. You
what's the name of the
cheeky
diner again?
boy."
The name of the diner was, forgive me.
Nell Bell Diner.
Nell's Bells. That's
There
right.
it is.
Nell
Nell's
Bells.
Bell
Bells.
Diner. There we go.
And
Yeah.
the place was perfectly decorated. We didn't have to do anything in terms of, that was a good thing about this particular movie is all the locations looked perfect. We didn't have to do anything except maybe move a few things around, because normally you have to art direct, and like everything kind of came exactly the way we wanted it.
So
We-
Patrick,
We do have the owner she took some convincing, but the owner is one of the extras in that first
Oh.
scene. We
Yeah.
convinced her to
cool.
just sit in there, and I think she's drinking a cup of coffee or something, which was kind of
Yeah.
fun.
No, she is.
Oh.
She is.
Yeah. So I said this to Chris after I got done watching the movie, and he's like, dude, nobody else is gonna know that. And I was like, okay. Well, I go, man, DeSoto Inn and Nell's Bells, that's a 12.5-hour walk if you're walking that. And I feel so sorry. That kid should have been like dead on the street.
Right? We tried to make it look like it was like close. That was creative geography.
I know.
Yeah, I know. I think it'd be more than 12 hours, probably. I don't know. That's a long walk.
I
Well,
googled it.
also-
We
Also,
Googled it after I
hence
argued about
the,
that.
Yeah.
hence the fact that we're like leaving the DeSoto Inn when it's like sunrise
That's true.
and entering.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Sunfall. Okay, yeah, I thought it was the same sun. There, see, that's
There you
my
go.
mistake.
There you go.
Mistaken-
There you
Fucking
go.
Neil.
I know. Hey,
Stop.
I
Neil,
can't.
get
I
your
can't perceive
get your
everything.
After
It's
leaving a
up to-
gas station in Leavenworth, you were just hoofing it all over the Tri-County area.
That scene at the gas station in Leavenworth was fun to shoot, because I mean, we're an independent film, so we couldn't afford to like say, hey, close your gas station down
Yeah.
for our movie, so we had to film while the gas station was open, which worked for a while. Luckily, it worked while we were filming on the inside, because there wasn't a huge amount of people coming in. It was a weeknight, but as soon as we started filming outside,
Oh
people
man,
started spreading the
social
word,
meeting.
and they started pulling into the pumps, and then they were all filming us with their iPhones. And finally I had to say, look, here's the deal, because if the shot is on Lori, who's playing Judith, and I can see that pump behind her, the same car has to be back there for
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I was running into a situation where one car would leave and then another car would come, and I'm like, you guys just stay there, chill out, watch this film, but just keep your car there, because if take two if I use like the front of take two and then the last part of take three, and there's a different car in the background, then people are gonna.
And
It's
please stop TikTok. Like, we had to ask people, we're like, you can take TikTok videos just when they say action, put down your smartphone, because we literally had people in the background like
Oh, yeah.
TikToking and Snapchatting themselves.
If you had the different car, it'd be the goofs on IMDb.
Exactly. I don't want to be on those. Yeah, exactly.
Now, Megan, when I was looking up information about you, I noticed you're originally from Montana. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yep.
So when did you get to the Kansas City area?
I actually grew up there in Montana and went to college at Gonzaga in Washington and lived in Seattle and then moved to LA. And so I was living in LA. My husband is from the Kansas City area. So it was when we were kind of making the decision about, like, do we want to base and put roots down in LA or in Kansas City? And we wanted to have kids, so we kind of liked the idea of raising kids out here in the Midwest. And as I tell everybody, I'm like, my first mortgage here was the same as my 1-bedroom in West Hollywood.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
My
Yeah.
mortgage here in Tulsa is literally $200 less than what I paid.
Oh my gosh. So like,
there.
you just can't beat the affordability of Kansas City. So yeah.
So I'm guessing for all the roles I've seen you that you've been a part of and stuff like that, you've probably had to travel for some of those roles and stuff like that. So you've probably filmed in a lot of different locations. So what is your favorite place to probably film at, and why is it Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Well, I work as both. Hey, I was just in Oklahoma City last year for Tulsa King. So
Yeah, I know, that's I saw it out here.
great experience with your Oklahoma film community. Amazing. It was such a great week. As an actor, my preferences are different than as a producer. As a producer, I love filming in Kansas City. I mean, people are still excited about film here. Like Patrick said, when you go to locations, people are pumped about it, and people want to help you out, and people get excited to be in film, and the crew just really collaborates, and people have a flexibility here. And the talent level is the same for cast and crew here as it is anywhere in the country. So yeah, so as a producer, I absolutely love filming locally.
So I want to congratulate you guys on 100% Rotten Tomatoes. That's awesome, by the way.
Whew, okay. Yeah. I every now and then I just go and I look and I'm like, is it still okay? Good, it's still there. You know. So, yeah, no, we've been fortunate. We got a good review from the New York Times, and so that was very, very helpful.
Yeah, I saw that. I was stoked for you guys.
And it's one of those movies where I'm hoping word of mouth keeps carrying it because it does have a very, I think, unique perspective and a different take on the haunted house movie. So I'm hoping that people continue to watch and word gets out because that's how these movies continue to be successful is word of mouth. You know, we don't have the Marvel marketing budget, so.
Oh man, really? Who would have?
Well, I mean, you know, look at a movie like Terrifier 2, which is a completely different kind of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that movie was built off of word of mouth, or you know what I'm saying? Like it didn't they didn't spend a lot of marketing because they had viral marketing. So for me, like what you guys are doing, having us on and us talking about the film is so helpful because
no problem.
People interested in the movie. And I always tell people once your movie is out, your work isn't done. You have to keep promoting the movie and getting it out there in front of people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, you know, there's so much content now. So the goal is to create something that sticks out in people's minds, you know?
All right. This question is going to Sarah because we haven't heard from you in a little while.
Oh.
Sarah.
Oh
Okay.
no. Okay. Hey.
We had a great conversation with you. I don't know, was it 220 episodes ago?
It
now?
was.
Well,
Yeah,
how
215.
many episodes? How many? Because we do one every week.
That was when we were talking about what was it? Brie Larson's
Polar and Short Term 12. We talked about Short Term 12.
Yeah,
Polar.
yes. Oh my god.
And you were
Oh my
working on
god.
something at the
Yes,
time, too, that
my
we were talking
favorite
about.
Brie Larson film aside from Room.
Room.
Oh, Room is
not
great.
not The
Oh.
Room,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Scott
Let's
Pilgrim,
not
but that's not
be
really her
mistaken,
film. She's just
but
but-
Room. Just Room.
So, what was your favorite part of this filming experience, or and what do you think you have coming up in the future that we're going to be looking forward to seeing from you?
Oof. Oof. So, to reiterate, my favorite part of this filming
Mhm.
with Dark and what am I looking forward to later?
In the future. Yeah.
All right, cool. Oof. Man, I'm not gonna lie. little Patty McGee,
Yeah.
that kid, like he gave me the best, but also the worst things to say. Like he would look at me with like his cute little his little baby eyes and just say like, hey, in between takes, he would just say, hey, you're a good mom. You're gonna be a great mom. And I was like, my little baby boy, what are you doing to me right now? And then like literally 5 seconds later, he was just like, hey, you know what this is on the side of your head? That's a bald spot. I have a bald spot on the side of my head too. It's okay. We all get them. And I'm like, bro, you're like 8. What do you know? Get out of here, man. Like, don't even talk to me. But like honestly, like, you know, like, so like, yeah, I would say working with little Patty McGee. But
I mean,
also,
who would have thought that
also-
another Patrick could come to Kansas City and take over from the other Patrick guy that's there? I don't know what that guy's name is, but
I know, right? And you're like, Patrick, right?
Patty McGee.
Who's this guy?
He gave me $5 one day between takes. I didn't know he was standing next to me and he slipped a $5 bill in my pocket. And then like hours later he goes, "Hey, can I have that $5 back?"
Now let's
Yeah,
finish,
it was adorable. It was adorable.
let's finish the story with that, because he did that with almost every other cast and crew member, because he would go over to every single person and be like, "Hey man, I got $5 here. Let me slip it into your pocket real quick." And then he would like wait 5 minutes and be like, "Oh, you still got that $5?" and snatch it back out of your pocket.
What the heck?
And it's like, I can't in good conscience keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Megan,
I love-
Megan, did he do that to you?
He never did to me, but I love that we had to have Big Patrick and Little Patrick on set. He's all the way Big Patrick. So like Little Patrick's gonna be like 35 winning an Oscar, and we're all gonna still be calling him Little Patrick.
I will honestly, I will always be calling him like Little Patrick McCloverson because he hated that. He hated that because it's just like Little Patty McGee, Little Patty McCloverson, and like just like the most Irish of Irish names. And he was just like, "Stop calling me that," and I'm just like, "Oh, but I gotta be your mom. I gotta patronize you a little bit longer. Like, you know what? Like."
If you're at
But
the Oscars,
also,
you need to yell that at him.
he also treated me like his mom numerous times, and he's just
Ooh.
like, "Hey, you're cute," or "Hey, you know what? Your booty's sagging out of your shorts today," and I'm like, "Bro, why are you looking at that? Stop! Like, what is wrong with you? Like."
Oh,
No, he
that's awesome.
no filter, and it was.
I hope
it
he
was-
never
it was
does. He's so awesome.
fantastic. He was the best to work with
So
on
the way
set.
it sounds is that, you know, Patricks are just taking over Kansas City. Ever since I moved away, anybody with the name Patrick is just taking over Kansas
Yep.
City.
Yeah,
That's what it
Neil,
is.
you missed out.
I know. I missed all the
should-
Patricks.
You should change your name.
Oh yeah, no, because my sister's name is Patricia, which is
Oh, no.
the female version of Patrick.
Oh well,
No,
there you
there's no
go.
way I'm doing
So
that.
you
That's my
will.
daughter's-
So sounds like your sister lucked out.
Yeah, she
My guy?
lives in Notre Dame area. She's never going to be there. So also a lot of people that listen to our podcast are
Yes.
usually up and coming filmmakers, actors, actresses, and stuff like that. We have some great conversations with great
Oh,
local
yeah.
people in different cities across the United States. Can you guys share how you guys got into what you're doing today? Like, let's start with you, Patrick. How did you start becoming like a writer, director? Because you have like, I can't even, on your IMDb, it says like, what, 83 under your belt at this point? And I'm
I've
just
never
like,
counted. I've never counted.
74.
Yeah,
It says
some of that
74 at
stuff
this
goes
point.
back to college. Like, you know,
Yeah.
okay, so I grew up in Nebraska, small town. And you know, you were born in 1980, so it was, you know, there was a lot of playing outside or going to the movies. And so, you know, we grew up with Jaws and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and those movies and stuff. So for me, that was kind of like what got me excited about making movies. When I was in high school is when I really got the bug, because for some reason my high school had its own channel that went to everybody who had cable in town.
Dope.
And so I was put in charge,
Yeah.
which might have been a mistake, but it was fun. I mean, it was made to film like high school football and high school basketball games and stuff like that. But I ended up making these really, really weird movies, and then I would play them on loop all day. And then so that's kind of what got me into it. But then I ended up going to college at the University of Kansas, and I stuck around Lawrence for 10 years. I ended up working for a TV studio there, and then they started kind of getting involved with I was making a lot of short films and playing them at film festivals and such. And then I made a movie called Nailbiter, which we started filming in, I think, 2009, and it didn't get released till 2013. It's always that first movie that takes forever to make. And
Right.
We just met a director that his first movie literally took 8 years.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always tell people don't get frustrated, don't quit, because it's supposed to. The first one especially, it just for some reason takes that long, and so I just keep doing it. And I made a film when we when we filmed it. It was called Enclosure, and it had Fiona Dourif, who's Brad Dourif's daughter, and it had Jake Busey, But then when they released it, it was called Arbor Demon, which I'm not thrilled with the title. But it's on Paramount Plus and it's on MGM Plus right now. But we filmed that in South Carolina. Actually, it's like the one feature that I haven't done in Kansas City. And then I just kept working and making stuff. Did I Am Lisa, which was shot mostly in the North Kansas City area. And then we did this movie. So
You
I
also didn't mention Nailbiter.
well, Nailbiter was shot in Lawrence, and that was the first one that took 4 years. And then I did a family film in between there with Megan. Megan produced. It's probably my one and only family film I'll ever make. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another one.
That was the one about the dog, right?
Yeah, it was
Belong to us.
Belong to Us, which is
On Peacock right now.
Peacock,
it's on a bunch of streaming services right now.
I think it's on Tubi and Peacock.
It's on Peacock. Yeah, I Am Lisa's on Peacock. And yeah, so it's all about just
We don't have to mention I Am Lisa because
I
my
did-
character. The film is great. My character is
a terrible person.
garbage.
The complete
Sorry.
I
opposite.
was gonna say, I saw I Am
she's
Lisa.
a
It's a good movie,
garbage
man.
person.
What are you talking-
No,
Your character's garbage, but you did good in it. Don't worry, it's fine.
Well,
I still love
yeah.
you.
Does it smell
was,
like? Does it smell like French fries? Like I don't know. Like
Somebody's
character
asking
is
if
garbage.
I like the bottleneck or the replay. That's a tough, that's a flip of the coin because I like both of them. I would have to say probably replay over bottleneck. Somebody's asking me what bar on Mastery I like better. But yeah, so I Am Lisa was interesting because we shot that all of 2019. We shot, well, not all of it, but the summer of 2019, and then we were able to release it in 2020 and 2021 when there was kind of a lull in product because of the pandemic. So we were able to get the Redbox kiosks with that movie, and so that movie's done very, very well. So yeah, I just keep making stuff, and I like doing it right here in Kansas City and working with these lovely folks. So.
Now, Megan, let's take this question over to you because you have a long, true, and plus you started up the wonderful production company that put this movie all together, got the funding all together from Smart Mouth Productions.
Grab my gear.
How did you get into film? And how do you? I'm twisting over my own tongue. Chris, finish it for me.
I'm tracking you. No, I was actually a theater kid. I grew up I played sports. I was kind of a jock that also did theater, but I went to college for theater and for journalism, and my concentration in journalism was actually theater reviewing. So when I graduated, it was kind of a, New York, LA, and I don't sing or dance well enough that anyone's going to pay me to do it. So I kind of gravitated toward LA and the film and television side of it. And I enjoy it. I love the medium. So I fell into that as an actor. I actually didn't get into producing until I moved to Kansas City. And that was kind of pre the self-tape revolution. It was pre a lot of the states around here that have the good incentives now didn't have them at the time. And there wasn't all this production within a 2-hour plane ride everywhere. So it was kind of like if I wanted to work, we had to start making some of our own work. And I, started teaming up with some other actresses and just producing a web series and short films and that kind of stuff. And then yeah, the producings kind of just kept coming. Like I said, I helped with the family film that Patrick directed. And so this is the first entire feature that my production company is 100% done on its own. We've done a lot of shorts and a lot of web series and commercial corporate stuff, but yeah, so we wanted to do a full feature with Smart Mouth.
So Sarah,
how did you get in acting? And how, we've seen you on the stage, so I know you do stage work. You did the one with the lady with the axe. What was
Lizzie Borden?
Lizzie Borden. I remember you were in that one.
Lizzie Borden. Yeah.
I remember seeing that one.
So I was not Lizzie. I was
No, you weren't. You were
I was her sister, Emma.
Yeah.
Excuse me. My full name is Emma L. Borden. The L is for Lenora. So I oh man, that's like my last stage performance,
Oh,
and
really?
honestly, like the funnest. Because honestly, low key, like, can I curse on this
Oh
podcast?
fuck yeah!
Fuck
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, cool. I got to say what the fuck
Yeah.
32 times in a song. In
That's
a
amazing.
song, I got to say what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck now, Lizzie.
Yeah, it's like Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy. You got to say the
Literally,
F
like
bomb, and
it
it's like,
was,
yeah.
You know, Fred Durst.
so
You
it
know,
was so like if I did not get cast as Lizzie, I was like, I better fucking be cast as her sister Emma, so I can say what the fuck now, Lizzie, in this song. And I got cast as Emma, and I was like, cool,
Oh.
great, fantastic. So yeah, so my story as far as acting goes, way back into the ether. Anyway, in
You're the
high
youngest
school,
person on the podcast right now.
Yeah.
You know that, right? you're like way back in the time, and you're the youngest person right now in this whole conversation.
You guys can just be like a little bit nicer to me. Just like let me have this moment and be like, and way back into my ether, into my decade, just a little bit.
Okay.
but anyway, so yeah, I had no inclination or like aspiration to act at all until I was like maybe like 20. But unfortunately, I was like put into a like an acting class in high school, ironically, when I was like 17. And then I was like, oh crap. Like schedule mishap completely. And I was like, oh, this is like I'm like sweeping the floors in a production of Annie as like maid number 37. But I like see the audience when like the curtains open, and I was like scrubbing the floors, and I was like, what is this magnificence? Oh my goodness. This is amazing. And like I told my parents, I was like, yeah, so I think I want to go to school for like theater or like musical theater. And my parents were like, okay, sure. We'll support you and we love you, but like it's not going to be sustainable for like your life. And, you know, same goes for today, but anywho, yeah, so got a BFA in musical theater. Have done very minimal with musical theater, but have done a lot with film.
Now, Chris, go ahead
If
and
that
ask that.
makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. Chris, I think it's time for you to ask that question that I hate more than anything in the entire world.
It's a question we ask everyone. Every podcast is the hardest question. And let's start with Patrick. What is your favorite movie?
Probably,
No.
man, it's probably Raiders of the Lost Ark, but like, because
I love that answer. Oh, high five.
I would. It's one of those things where you're like, you watch it, like, what would you change? You know, what would you change? Nothing, right? But I mean, Empire Strikes Back. It's like they kind of joust in terms. One's my favorite. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. Megan knows this. Everyone knows this. So, but I think Raiders is like a perfect movie. I think there's nothing like you would change in it.
So are you scared to see Dial of Destiny then?
Am I scared to see it?
Yeah.
Or excited to see it? I'm a little both.
I want to see it. I thought as long as it doesn't got aliens, I'm all down.
I think it's gonna be just fine, guys. I think it's gonna be fun, and will it be as good as the original movies? Probably not, but it'll be just fine. The problem is that the way movies are made now is way different than the way they were made. You know, the way they made the original movies. So because of that, I mean, this one's shot on digital. I think this is the first one that they've ever done, like actually shot on digital. So there's always going to be a visual thing about it that seems different from movies. Anyway, I've talked long enough.
Megan?
Godfather.
Oh, good answer. Good answer.
1 and 2 collectively.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But yep, hands down. It's just great. It was like the most fun ever when my kids were finally old enough. I'm like, and we're ready. The time has come.
All right, sir. I'm so sorry. It's a hard question. I know.
I don't know. It literally depends on the week.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
Okay, what-
is that not like the same
Okay,
for like
how about this?
Megan, Patrick, Neil, Chris? Is that not
No,
like the same for
It's
you guys?
It's
like,
true for me. It's true for me. I promise.
I
This-
see. This is why I hate this question, because me, like, literally at one point, I lived above a one-screen movie theater when I was a teenager. I literally was the general manager of a Blockbuster in the 90s. I at one point I owned over 4,000 DVDs, over 6,000 VHS cassettes. I've seen so much cinema that it's like, how can I choose what my favorite movie is? Just like one movie. And then like now I'm portraying like, you know, if you were to ask this question in the 90s,
you
it'd
know
be a lot
what?
easier.
You know what? I have an answer.
I'm ready.
Oh, what's the answer?
You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Pop some knuckles. I don't have knuckles,
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
okay.
but
You'll do. There you go.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, great one. Great.
Ooh,
Wes Anderson.
that is
Yeah.
a good one. I haven't even thought of that one. I
That's
might
a
want to
deep
watch
pull.
that tonight.
All right, cool. That's a great answer.
There you go.
That's an
Just like
amazing
give me some kind of.
I don't have any.
He's just
Ooh,
different.
Where's your sound bits, Mr.
I'm s-
Producer Man? You
Sorry,
are slacking.
I was
today.
going to, but
You're
I didn't want to be.
grounded, man.
I didn't want to be too morning radio, so I didn't have what I need for this.
That's fantastic, Mr. Fox. Like
It's fantastic.
It's like it is fantastic. It's
It's for-
fantastic.
It's before Wes Anderson parodying himself.
Like
So
it's just so good.
Cuss,
It's
cuss,
so
cuss.
good.
It's so good. It is.
You
Like I
can't-
haven't seen it in
you
quite a
can't-
while.
You
That's a
can't
George
be
Clooney
you
one.
can't
Yeah.
be mad at it. Like
I'm not
it's
mad.
so
Oh, yeah.
like, and even if you get mad at it, then it's like staring you straight in the face and being like drinking like grape juice and being like, "You mad, bro?"
I
And
feel like one of my favorite movies of all time, like, is like not just like Star Wars or Godfather or Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the Gene Wilder original.
Oh
Like,
no,
I have a grudge against
I
that.
love Gene
that
Wilder.
is not
I'm
a
huge-
musical. Drives me bananas.
I'm over here. I'm going to say my favorite movie this week is The Witch. You know, so
I specifically
I'm
being forced to watch. I wanted to rent Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Right? I was at the
Megan,
And that-
you
forced to
you
watch
were
Willy
saying
Wonka.
like that is not one of your films.
No, it drives me bananas. It drives my oldest son bananas too because it doesn't follow the book.
I thank
yeah,
you
it does not,
so
yeah.
much. Thank you so
Just like-
much.
But
Oh
Patrick
my
also
God.
knows I hate ET, so childhood films
Oh,
probably.
that's unforgivable.
Yeah,
I,
Patrick
like-
I
knows
think I
this.
have. Where's Willy Wonka? Right there. There he is.
Yeah.
There's Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, E.T. is one of those movies with our childhood where it's like it either you love it or it scared the crap out of you. Like that's
oh yeah. That scared Sarah's wife, Warren.
Yeah, no,
terrified.
it's scared. It's no, Chris. Let me
Yeah.
correct you real quick. It's because your wife, Leah, my
Yeah.
wife's sister, scared the bejesus out of her by being like, "Hey, let me prop this ET little like dummy under her bed," and then be like, "Hey, Lauren, look under your bed," as like any old sister would to a younger sister.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rude
Okay.
rude sibling
Childhood,
shit.
childhood trauma movie for me was The Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
loved the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Loved the Dark Crystal.
Never ending story.
That
Thomas,
Labyrinth.
my
Oh,
trauma movie is The Gate. My sister showed that to me when I was 3 years old, and it
Yeah.
terrified me. It's an awful movie.
When
They used
I
to play that
when I-
movie on the HBO in the middle of the day. Like I remember HBO, they'd be like, "Hey, let's play The Gate at 1 p.m." And you're like, just
When-
For years, I'd leap away from my bed for scared of hands would come under and drag me. So
Also,
when I was a wee little lad, I actually got kicked out of the movie theater at when I was like, I think I was 6. I was 6 years old. My mom allowed me to go see Nightmare on Elm Street 3,
Dream Warriors. welcome to prime time,
And
bitch.
I was laughing so hard at it. Like the little puppet fate one where he's got the puppet guy. I was a kid laughing. Everybody else is like, ah! And I'm a little kid going, ah, that's so funny. And like I got kicked out of the theater for laughing too hard.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. I remember when it played in the, because there was a theater about 10 minutes outside of my hometown that also played it had 2 screens. I remember the poster fascinated me to the point where I went home as a 7-year-old and I drew the poster. And because for some reason posters for me were like a big thing. I remember seeing the poster for Legend when it came out and just being amazed by that poster. And it's still that's still one of the best movie posters I've ever seen.
When I go to Halloween parties or stuff like that, and I see people that actually do the Prince Darkness setup, like where they have the horns and they're walking around like that, I'm like, 1, amazing. 2, headache. Yeah, you're gonna have a headache by the end of the night. I know you are.
I would like to know how much the horns weighed. I think they were probably looked like they were heavy, but they were actually pretty. My theory, but
they were shallow PCP pipe. I saw a hole behind.
No kidding.
Thing with Tim
Curry
on that.
Where do
Tim
you
Curry.
know
Oh,
your Tim Curry from?
Yeah,
everywhere. I love Tim.
For us, it's either Legend or It, and then
or Clue. Clue. I was a huge
yes, Megan Clue.
Or Home Alone 2. He was in that too.
Or wait. Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Or Treasure Planet.
3 Musketeers.
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh, Muppet
Good
Treasure.
pick.
Oh,
Good
okay,
point.
we're just going through everything Tim
Okay.
Curry now. Okay, everybody, let's wrap this up.
Okay, so I ask every person that comes on the show to do this for us because I cut it out and I save it for intros. So I'm gonna ask you to. Yeah, it's okay. So Patrick, I'm gonna ask you to say no pressure. I just say this is Patrick Ray. You're listening to movies that don't suck and some that do.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Patrick Ray, and you are listening to Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Do.
Perfect, Megan.
This is Megan Flynn, and you're listening to Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Do.
Sarah.
This is Sarah McGuire, and you're listening to Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Do.
Perfect. I love it.
All right, let's do the wrap up right here, Chris. All right, guys. We want to thank so much for the people from They Wait in the Dark with Patrick Ray, Sarah McGuire, and Megan Flynn for coming and joining us today on the episode. Thank you guys so much.
It was a blast.
Everybody, make sure to make your way out. Go and see this movie. It is an amazing movie. It's a haunted. It's the best way to say it's like a haunted horror movie, a haunted house movie where it has a twist in it. And believe me, you are going to love the twist that they put on this movie. So please go watch it. It's on Amazon, anywhere VOD is available. Make sure you have a good day and have a good time. Take care of each other and love each other as well. There we go. That's the end of that. Everybody, thank you for joining us live. Is there anybody out there that still wants to ask any questions? We're just gonna wrap it up here with everybody. We're going to give you about 1 second to go, about 1 minute to throw something in there.
Answered the
if
bottleneck
not,
question.
Oh yeah. Did you say bottleneck or replay Patrick?
Replay. And, it really is. I actually filmed a lot of shows at the Bottleneck when I worked for the TV studio. But the replay was definitely a place I went just to go to a bar.
Oh yeah, Replay was a good place.
Yeah.
Bottleneck was the first one I drove over to because when I moved to Kansas City from Chicago.
Also, one thing that I can actually ask for Patrick and Megan, and also
sure
Chris and Neil, what are you guys working on in the future? Like,
You want to go
so-
first, Chris?
Yeah. I'm gonna flip the script. So
right,
what
I'll go
are you what are you guys working on?
So every Thursday we record a new
let's go-
podcast.
Okay. Chris,
Every
let's go. Let's go with you
also-
first.
every Thursday I do
Yeah.
a podcast on Wednesday on Second Sunday. Do comes out the audio version comes out every Sunday with
Okay.
Neil who's here, right, Neil?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do something. I don't know what I do.
Yeah,
I
I do
I-
something.
I work in radio, so I work for the podcast here. We record every Thursday live here every Thursday on all platforms. Then on top of that, I also work in radio, but that's all production stuff in the background. Right now, I'm actually working on a wrestling podcast that I'm going to have up and coming here in a little bit, and I've been working with local pro wrestlers here in the Tulsa area because I don't know if you guys know this, but there's like 7 wrestling promotions in Tulsa. It is ridiculous. And one of my friends last year, we are just sitting having beers on a couch, and he's like, I'm going to become a pro wrestler. That guy now has 2 titles for 2 different companies in here at Tulsa. So I've been working on a lot of stuff on the background like that. That's why I built my nice little studio here so I could do a lot more stuff online.
Patrick, what you got coming up?
Well, I always have got at least 3 things going at the same time. I've actually completed a bunch of short films that I've shot 3 or 4 different short films since September that are going to be circulating the festival circuit. And then Sarah and I are working on a found footage horror movie, which I don't know what your feelings are on those, but this one will be different and interesting. And then I'm also working on a sequel to I Am Lisa, which we pray that it'll happen. And I'm one of those guys, when the right project comes my way, I will swoop on it. So
Megan, what you got going on?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know if you guys know, we're on a writer's strike, and I think we're about to be on actors director's strike as well. So probably not going to be working much this summer on the acting side of it. So we're kind of just taking it day by day. I've got some stuff I'm helping producing wise, a short and a couple other projects.
Do you have inside talk on when it might end?
You what?
Do you have inside talk on when the strike might end for writers?
I don't know. I think we might be buckled in for a bit, and rightfully so. I hope the writers and actors, I hope we get everything we're asking for. So I think it's the right thing to do. Support your folks on strike.
Oh yeah, sure.
Without deep diving too much into my own personal thoughts about it, hey man, if you made this stuff, you should get paid.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter if you're a writer, doesn't matter if you built a car for someone, doesn't matter what you did. If you did the work, you need to get paid for the work. And people who keep trying to take money away from people are doing that. Believe me, I just anyway.
Support your strikers. But yeah, so kind of just gonna see how it goes for right now. So like Patrick said, I've always got 2 or 3 things that are there.
You have to have several things going at once, and hopefully one will hit.
Yep.
Yes. All right, guys.
All right. It looks like no one's asking any questions. So, guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. This episode will be out later this week on Spotify, Apple, all the above. Thank you guys for joining in first. You guys have a good day. And remember, if you can't love each other, make sure